Yo, what's going on, guys? Reversal here, and today I'm going to be doing a updated Dinosaur deck profile for going first for the Tier 0 Fire format that we're currently in. Before I get started, as you guys can see, this is a new Dinosaur playmat that I haven't used before. This was sent to me by a company called Final Saga over in Germany. So huge shout out to them for wanting to send me stuff to show off to you guys. I'm going to show off a couple other things before I get into the profile. So if you're interested in getting any of this stuff for yourself, leave a link to the website down below. It's just finalsaga.de. And if you choose to buy anything, you can use code reversal10 for 10% off. So definitely keep that in mind if you do decide you want to buy something. This mat is really nice. As you can see, it has like the Conductor, Lars, Meteorus, the Glaciosaurus, the Synchro, whatever it's called. I think that's Misk frozen, and then I think that's Ovi drowning in some lava. So it's a pretty cool mat. Definitely gonna be using this. And then I got some other stuff to show off. They also sent me this Book of Moon binder. This thing's sick. Book of Moon's one of my favorite cards from back in the day as an old school player, so this is really cool. And I need a binder really bad too, so this is really appreciated for sure. And then we got some sleeves. This nice little box. We got Dino sleeves. These are like some over sleeves. Open up this one. There's like some more these, and then some other art sleeves. They're pretty cool. And then the sleeves that you guys are probably interested in is these Dino sleeves. Box is really cool. So it's pretty much the same image that's on the mat, just condensed into a sleeve. Definitely going to be using these for my extra deck for all my decks from now on for sure. I think it's really nice art on the sleeve and the mat. So yeah, huge shout out to them. If you do end up deciding to buy anything from their website, like I said, use code reversal10 for 10% off. And if you do end up buying anything, leave a comment, let me know. Definitely curious to see like how many people end up actually using the code, buying the stuff, whatever. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get straight into the profile. I think Dino's in a weird spot, like usual. I mean, we're in a Tier 0 format. Whether people want to argue if it is or not, it is. Like, the Snake Eyes cards are better than everything, so we kind of have to tailor our deck to that and keep that in mind when it comes down to all our choices. Like I said at the beginning, this is going to be a going first variant. I do have a blind second list that I'm still working on, which I think could be a viable option, but I definitely need to test some more things. And I want to see how Vegas this weekend shakes out before I kind of commit to dropping a profile for that. So, since when you're blind seconding in a meta like this, every tech card you choose to play matters a lot more when you're choosing to let your opponent go first. So, but yeah, I'll definitely drop that sometime next week. And then I've been having people ask me for a budget list, not including the ground Xenos at all. Even though the last one I dropped only had 2 of them, and the deck was still like $100. But yeah, I'll do one without the ground Xenos at some point too. So yeah, this is gonna be 44 cards. I was testing a lot at 41, but you definitely could cut something, one of the going first like engines, or one of the sets of non-engine to make it 41. But in my opinion, 44 just seems fine. The minor loss in consistency you're taking is made up for with the extra non-engine being able to help you go second. because before it was a little lighter on the non-engine stuff, so going second was a little harder. And then when you do go up to 44, you're helping to dilute the bricks, even if it's slightly. So I think 44 is fine, but so you can drop it down to 41 if you want. But yeah, let's get straight into it. We got the 3 Ovi as usual, 2 Archosaur, 3 Baby, 2 Petite, 1 Misk, and 1 Giant Rex. I went back to Rex because I think Kaito's not useful, to be honest, in my opinion. I think the combos are terrible. They lose to everything. I think playing Poly in the deck is bad. I don't think the Secret Village lock is good enough because you can only do it if you full combo into no hand traps. If you have the combos that are a body short, you can't even set up like a real board. So I think that stuff's terrible. Personally, I wouldn't play it. I will show something at the end that I would play as a going first engine to get mid combo. Mainly if we end up in a format that's not all hand traps, which it seems like we're heading that way, to like a format where it's more of a mix of breakers and hand traps. So it could be viable, but as long as people are playing 15 hand traps in their deck, those combos just aren't happening. So in my opinion, they're just not really completely worth it. But I'll talk about that other package later at the end. Then we got the 1 Meteorus and the 1 Frostosaurus still for Lars, and then this is really good for playing through Droll. We got the 2 Conductor and the 1 Pink. There's an argument to maybe cut Pink because going first, it's not really useful a lot of the time. Sometimes you do get to summon it off Petite Pop from the Conductor that you have on the field. And then sometimes you want to end on it instead of Conductor, but that's mostly post side when you know what you're playing against. But this is definitely something you could potentially cut to the side, but I'll just have it in for now. It's because it's not like a good going second card for the most part in this format against the fire decks. And then, as I mentioned in the past, Lost World into the fire decks is a lot worse since they do have the Link Rebo. So the main interaction that Pink is nice with is Lost World. So it's definitely something to consider cutting. Then the last card is a card that I've notoriously really never played in the past, and I'm not really thrilled about playing it right now, but that is the 1 Litho. So an issue I was finding before with this deck was, without this package, is it was bricking too much, which Litho is kind of a brick in itself, but the other cards that facilitate this are good, so it's kind of like a trade-off you get. But yeah, the deck wasn't consistent enough. It wasn't playing through a hand trap enough, so adding this package in helped you play through a hand trap more often. It helps the deck just have a playable hand more often, even if the combos that go through Litho aren't as good. I think it's worth playing in a going first list, just because you need the deck to be able to play. So like if you're building the deck to where you're not getting playable hands enough, it's kind of a problem because you're not playing, obviously. So this list, even at 44, in the testing I did with it, it was in the low 80s as far as just opening playable and when you're going first with 5 cards, which is pretty decent for Dino's standards. And then it was playing through a hand trap at least half the time. So obviously there's a variance between both of those, but the numbers were decent. So that's going to be it for the monsters. For the engine stuff, the spells, we have 3 Prosperity as usual, 3 Ground Xeno, 3 Fossil Dig, 2 Pill, and then for the field spells, we're playing 2 Lost World, 1 Diagram, and 1 Set Rotation. Opted not to play Terraforming just because Droll is kind of popular at the moment, even though I think it's not a very good card in the main deck, personally. But yeah, this stuff up top's all standard. Still playing 2 Lost World, even though, like I said, it's not good going second into the fire decks. I still think the card's way too good not to play. I tried playing with 1, I tried playing with 0, and the deck honestly felt horrible. So I think you still have to play this card to some degree, despite it not being good versus the fire decks going second, but I think going first, it's too valuable, and going second into other decks, I think it's too important to have, so. Then the one diagram, and then set rotation. Playing set rotation instead of terraforming, because this card doesn't search, it places, and it shuts them off from using field spells as well, which is very good, since like Fire King Island's a field spell, the Snake Eyes Temple's a field spell, and there's other field spells in the meta, potentially. And this card going second is like a bootleg Cosmic Cyclone, to where like if they have the island, you can use this, it places it over the island, and then the island will trigger to nuke their board, so it's not terrible going second versus that deck specifically because of the island, but so that's pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, I think this package is kind of needed right now just for more consistency and playing through a hand trap, since we are in a hand trap heavy format. So for the non-engine, got 11 here in addition to the Pank, which is kind of non-engine for like any other deck. So it's 12 and 44, which isn't terrible. It's not the greatest, but before it was 3 less than 41, which the math for that to see your non-engine going second is a lot worse. So for the defensive cards, we have Instant Fusion and Call by the Grave. These cards are both pretty good going second in the format, and then going first, they help you beat a hand trap. So I think they're both worth playing. Playing 2 targets for Instant Fusion. I'll talk about it more in the extra deck. Then I'm playing 3 talents. This card's like usually controversial in Dinos, but to me, I think this card's just one of the better non-engine cards right now, going first and going second. As long as we're in a hand trap heavy format, this card's live a lot going first, which is definitely something that's good. If you have a hand that's good enough to play through a hand trap and you have this, it's absolutely broken to rip a card from their hand. Then if they have another hand trap, you get rid of it, and then you can just play freely, and then you're just kind of good from there. And then going second, this card is just good for the most part, as long as you can get them to activate something without it kind of screwing up your whole turn. But this card's been a lot better than I thought it would be in this current format. If people move off hand traps to more like breakers, then maybe this card gets a lot worse. But for now, I think this card is pretty meta-defining right now. It's in a lot of people's decks. And since it's in a lot of people's decks, I built this to kind of play around that when I'm going second or on their turn. And I'm just playing 3 Nib and 3 Imperm because these are the best hand traps playing into talents. I didn't want to play the low impact stuff in the main deck since we don't have enough slots to play just all hand traps for them to be good enough. So I just wanted to play the ones that were the most impactful, that played into talents the best, and these are definitely the 6. Nib, it can be bad versus the fire decks if your opponent plays like the turn 100% properly, but Fire King and Snake Eyes are kind of difficult to play when it comes to navigating playing around certain cards, and not everybody is proficient at doing so. So you really punish bad players with a card like this. I've always kind of said Nib is like a skill check a lot of the time more than anything, but if you do happen to draw both of these together, it's very good. And then Imperm's just the one hand trap that has potential to end a turn that doesn't play into talents. So like sometimes they'll start with the Black Witch or a normal summon Ash or something. Snake Eyes Ash, obviously not Blossom, but you can just hit that, and then sometimes they don't have anything else. If they don't have anything else, it usually means they have a bunch of hand traps or something, so it's going to be hard anyways, but this is just what I found to be the best non-engine lineup right now to kind of for the main deck, and then when you go to side, it kind of helps with the side patterns playing 44 cards. So it definitely helps to kind of have what you need post side as well. So the 44 has been good. I don't think it's a big deal. The minor loss in consistency is not that noticeable for the benefits you get going second from playing the extra non-engine. So now I got the extra deck. There's some other cards you could potentially play. I'm just going to show like normal ones, and then like point out what's like a flex slot. We got the one Dolka and the one Lagia as usual. Lars, the GOAT. Dweller. Dugares. I think Dugares is more important now than before, since there's like the Raid Raptor deck that's like, it's like a budget option people could play, and a lot of decks aren't prepared for what they're doing, which is making like towers. And this card just lets you get your UCT really big, and then you could just beat over the towers. So another thing is Voiceless Voice, the ritual they have on the field gets up to like 4,000 or something, so it's good to have Dugares, I think, right now. Baguska, this is mainly for like the shifter decks, and then sometimes with instant fusion in like weird hands you could end up making this. But yeah, I think it's like decent enough right now. It's definitely a flex slot though, but I think it could come up enough to warrant playing. Then the Typhon. This is like a little bailout card as usual. I don't think you need to play it. It's just like decent. But if I would opt to play the thing I'm going to talk about at the end, like these are like the type of cards that would come out for that. So it's definitely not mandatory by any means. On the links, we got Link Rebo, the trader of the format, Secure Gardner, Pentastag, and SP. SP is insane. You don't have this card, I'm sorry for you, honestly, but it is what it is. If you're fortunate to get it before the price got insane, then good on you. If not, I mean, you can play without it, but the card's honestly just crazy. So then Link Rebo, this card could potentially get banned unironically because of how good it is in the fire decks, which would suck for us. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but yeah, that card just being a traitor, making our Lost World bad going second. Can't believe you would do that to us. The one Synchro, just got the Baron for the Meteor's plays. The instant fusion targets, we got Millenniumizer Strict for like Droll, Ash, and whatnot. Then Mud Dragon. This card, it being a level 4, can come up from time to time. Going second, this is what you would summon with instant fusion a lot of the time, because it does turn off targeting stuff, which a lot of decks right now, their disruptions do target. So the Mud Dragon's actually pretty decent for going second. And then going first, if you like have a read that they have imperm, you can go for this instead of the Millenniumize, so something to keep in mind. And then the last card is the Gigantazowler. This doesn't come up that much, but when it does come up, it's funny. So you could play it, you could not play it. It's not like important really, but yeah, I'll talk about that at the end. But the like flex slots would be like these, this, and then probably like Pentastag and Dugares. I think you probably want to have the Dugares, but you could go Pentastag if you need to. Like if you need to make room for the other going first package I'm going to talk about at the end. These are probably what I would take out. So now for the side deck, I'm just going to show 15 this time. There's some other stuff you could obviously play, but this is just like, it's pretty standard like stuff you could run. 3 Ash, since I'm not maining it, figured side it for stuff like Branded, Labyrinth, just any other deck pretty much that's not fire. Or if you need to side into a bunch of hand traps in general, this is just the best one that's not named Imperm, that hits everything. 3 Droll. I considered not playing this in the side at all, because I think this card's not great, honestly. But I figure it's just better to have it than not have it for like the decks that you want Droll against. But this is definitely something that could be considered to be cut for sure, if you want to go a different direction with the side deck. 2 Bell and 2 Crow. I think Bell is better than Crow, but I didn't have space for both, or to run this at 3, so I decided to just go 2 and 2, just because these cards hit the other decks that aren't fire, like Branded, Labyrinth, Voiceless Voice. So that's pretty good. I think it's nice to have those in the side, just because they do have overlap into the other non-fire matchups, and they're both not bad against fire either, especially the Bell. But yeah, they're both pretty good if you do want to side them into fire as well, you can. But I think these, it's just good to have hand traps right now, unless you're committing to board breakers. And then these cards can all be used going first as well, which, you know, if you'll notice at the end, I'm not playing any like going first, like Floodgate or anything, just because these cards are all versatile enough to use going first and second, which is nice. We got 3 Cosmic. This card's crazy right now. Can hit like field spells. Going first, going second, it's pretty good. It's one of the best just generic cards you could play right now. If I had more space in the main deck, this would probably be like the next non-engine card I would play in the main, potentially, unless the Pure Fire or Pure Snake Eyes deck becomes like the main way to play it. I think Fire King's probably a little better, just because of the layers that it has, and if you play the deck perfectly, it plays around pretty much everything. So that's just something to keep an eye on. I think we're gonna see like a more even split between the 2 Fire Snake Eyes decks. So we got the 1 Harpies, just to have a back row mass clear. You could play Lightning Storm as well potentially, but I just wanted to play 1 just to have. Then the 1 Doggerin. This is optional, but I figured just throw it in just because it's technically searchable, and some people might still be playing Pearly. I guess the Raid Raptor deck has the Towers cards or whatever, so this is probably optional, but I figured I'd just throw it in just to, you know, kind of throw it. This could potentially be like a Lightning Storm or a 3rd Battle if you want to take it out. Yeah, that's it for the side. So I'll just talk about the going first combo that you could potentially side into, which is back to the Flag and Ashatos. I've shown this off on the channel before, so if you haven't already kind of seen what the combo looks like, you can definitely go check that out in one of the previous videos. I think if we enter a format where people are starting to use board breakers as opposed to not only hand traps, I think this package really shines, because you can pretty much beat every board breaker with this, because the Ashatos is a lingering effect. So if you side this in, know what type to call that's gonna do the most damage to your opponent, and you pull this off without getting like hand trapped multiple times, the shutting off a type can be very good. And then this, unlike the Secret Village combo, actually works when you only have 1 less body, so something to keep in mind. And then you need the Ripperdocus with that, and then usually you would play the Appaloosa as your link 4, but now instead of this you can play Princess to go into the Ambler Whale. I'll do a combo video at some point, but it's nice to have like an additional layer and some extra pops. And then the Pit Knight early is something you could potentially play as well, since you can kind of climb into this when you're doing this to go into the whale, and then just having this engrave is like an extra like layer to this little like combo. So that's nice to have, but I'll talk about that combo more in another video. But that's something that you could definitely potentially play. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you get something out of this, and like I said, if you're interested in the mat or anything else, visit the finalsaga.de website. Use code reversal10 for 10% off, and that's gonna be it. Peace.